although that fee structure is there, but if an organization are finding it's difficult for any reasons, then we can enter into some discussions, and we have given sort of, I wouldn't say discount, but we would understand if somebody is not able to pay dues, if the difficulty, then we can come to some arrangement.
So I'm a masjid or a school regionally. I've paid £100. Then do I still need to be affiliated to a regional body, or no? I can still have the same sort of services and access to MCB as a regional organization.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So that's that. And the regions, if you're a regional organization, how much would you be
Again,
paying?
it's the whole membership is based on income of the organization.
Totally throughout the scale.
Throughout the
Fantastic.
scale, yeah. So whether it's a local, regional, or national, it's no difference. You could be a local organization, but you could be very rich. So you pay as based on the income turnover of the organization.
Okay, Sheikh. So now I'm a member, and I've actually sort of joined the MCB. What kind of things can I get? What is it that I'm actually signing up for, and what facilities, and how can you help me as a local school or a mosque in the region?
I think it's very important to understand the basics of MCB. The MCB is a representative organization supporting you, representing you in the bigger picture. We are not a service organization in the sense that we're providing certain service to your individual organization. Although that's also part of the deal. But the bigger picture is that we need unity as Muslim. And for that unity and for that voice to become strong, we need everyone to support us. And that is the basis of the affiliation. If our voice is strong, then if there are demands we place on, or if we take a campaign, then it is likely to be successful. So affiliates are getting the voice of MCB and strong and united voice. That's the first thing. The second thing is there are specific services provided by MCB.
Okay.
In terms of capacity building, in terms of leadership, in terms of media work, in terms of advice and guidance on specific issues, in terms of capacity building for organizations, in terms of charity registration, those services are there. But our main focus is to build the resilience of our community as an ummah, as a unity, so that when we are attacked on bigger issues, like Islamophobia is a big issue, terrorism is a big issue. Those issues are MCB needs to support Muslim community as a whole. And MCB speaks on behalf of Muslims, who speaks on behalf of our affiliates.
Okay.
And I think that's what is critical for the affiliates to understand, that they are part of a bigger voice. They're part of a bigger alliance which will represent their views and their concerns to wider audience.
Okay. And so you actually deal with a lot of media in terms of the whole country?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we do.
okay.
I mean, MCB...
So that's UK-wide, right?
MCB, since its inception, one of the strengths of MCB is we get around 12 to 1,300 media inquiries on a yearly basis.
Wow.
So we are the first
Okay.
port of call for any media outlets. They will call MCB and ask questions or seek advice or guidance on any issues to do with Muslims.
Right.
So
Okay.
we have a team of expertise within the media team, and it's very well resourced, but obviously we need to strengthen it as well. So from that point, I mean, we get 1,300 inquiries a year. We also get over 150 to 200 interviews to media through our spokesmen and women, our volunteers, the office bearers, as well as our regional spokesperson. We also issue 50 to 80 press releases on different issues which impacts Muslims.
Okay.
And
So,
we have a media officer.
Uh-huh.
The media officer facilitates those.
Cool.
On behalf
What
of
kind
MCB.
of inquiries do you get? I mean, it's a huge number of inquiries coming through to MCB.
So it could be anything to do with halal. It could be anything to do with education, childcare, terrorism, you name it. Any issue which media, it could be attack on a Muslim person, or it could be attack, if there are any atrocities taking place overseas, media would be the first people to call MCB and ask what you think of this. I'm sure you have watched our
So is it-
spokesperson going on television
Sure.
and defending the rights of Muslims on various issues.
And then, so now you say that you've got a lot of media sort of coming up to you and asking your views and questions and stuff. So I'm assuming you'll have a huge panel of people advising you, scholars, and people behind the scenes. Can you tell us, Sheikh, from 97 onwards? I mean, what are the things that MCB's worked on that would sort of remind us that, hey guys, do you know what? This is what MCB did for you. Muslim Council of Britain was there and they did this. Anything? So you mentioned the satanic verses, and that sort of took quite I remember as a kid going to all those demos and all that. What else has MCB done in terms of this umbrella organization that it sort of holds for these 500 affiliates? And any sort of highlights you can sort of remind us and tell us where you've been so influential and sort of been the voice of the community?
I think terrorism related issue, MCB has played a significant role in presenting the views of Muslims on terrorism related issues, and have attended various high-powered House of Commons subcommittees, where MCB has made representation and submitted evidence on terrorism-related issues. Islamophobia is another one where MCB has played significant role, again promoting the views of Muslims and some of the undue views of media in terms of reporting Islamophobia on media. MCB has contributed in that quite effectively. There are other issues which are halal is another issue where MCB has played a significant role.
Is it halal food or
Halal
finances?
food. No.
Or
Halal food as well as Islamic finance, Islamic banking has been another issue where MCB has played significant role.
Wow,
So those
okay.
are some of the key issues MCB has continued to play a role, as well as the census. MCB has been instrumental in including the questions about Muslims on census, as well as education. These are key issues that MCB has spoken about, has made representation.
Okay, fantastic.
We are joined by Farooq Murad. Brother Farooq Murad was the Secretary General of Muslim Council of Britain a couple of years ago, and we are delighted to have him with us.
MashaAllah, Brother Farooq Murad does not need a huge introduction, but here you go. Here's the man.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.
By the way, while we're here, I can also introduce my colleague in the background over there, Brother Yahya. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Farooq, that's an amazing title. Secretary General. You know, with all the medals and stars on your shoulders and everything. Is that what it is? Sounds cool, you know, Secretary General of MCB. What does a Secretary General do? If you can sort of tell us.
That's a very ordinary title, really.
It sounds like, you know, one of these Kofi Annan,
it's not
Secretary
like-
General of the UN.
Yes. No, it's a huge responsibility, and it was really my privilege and great amana and honor
Mhm.
to have been given this responsibility back in 2010, just when after the coalition government
Sure.
took over. It was around the same time when I think the politics in this country changed dramatically from the new Labour days. In terms of the new government's stance on prevent and on engaging with Muslim community,
Mhm.
that changed around the same time. So MCB had perhaps a greater avenues and engagement in taking up Muslim causes before that. But it's been blessing in disguise in the sense that it has also allowed us to strengthen our coalition, our alliances with civil society and with other communities. And I think at the end of the day, as they say, in terms of your rights in politics, you need to, it's not given, you need to quite often fight for it, and which means you need to build your capacity, build your alliances. And I thought that period we did a lot of that work, alhamdulillah.
Well, it's very good, mashallah. And then obviously, it's just not a sort of one region you're representing. You're representing, I think we're over how many mosques in the UK now and institutions? They're over 1,000 altogether,
Yes, I mean, I think there are more than 1,000 mosques. I believe there are about 1,500 or 2,000 mosques in this country.
Wow.
And there are many organizations, but as far as MCB is concerned, we have in the region of 400 to 500 affiliates. Of course,
Mashallah.
I'm saying 400 to 500 because quite often we have affiliates who have perhaps not paid 1 year, and so we're not quite sure whether they are. But I think 500 is closer to the number. But again, it shows that there are many, many more who have not yet joined. And I think as I'm speaking now, and Brother Hassan Muinuddin is in Leicester, those organizations, bodies which have not joined to create this united voice, they should. It's a very open platform, very democratic platform, I think, amongst all Muslim and in fact many non-Muslim bodies would be envious of in terms of our openness, our democracy, equal rights. All organizations, our members, meticulously every 2 years elections are held. I was Secretary General 2010 to 14, then Dr. Shuja Shafi took over. He did for 2 years, and then now Harun Rashid Khan has really shifted considerably in terms of age to younger generation, which I'm very pleased to see. And it's a voluntary work. We all did made our contribution. Before me, I must also celebrate the contribution of Sir Iqbal Sakrani for many years, one of the founding Secretary General from 1997 to 2006, and then Dr. Muhammad Abdul Bari was also chairman of East London Mosque from 2006 to 10. So as you can see, we've change of leadership, change of personnel, new people come, so nobody's holding on to the offices, and various ethnic groups have been represented. I think
that's the most important thing, isn't it? So you're not all, as the kursi, everybody loves the chair. And then, with the MCB, you've got various people coming in, and you've got elections taking place, and it goes through a whole process. And this was my next question. It's just not sort of Asian and masajids. You cater for all the masajids, don't you? All the institutions who are, like Brother Hassan, Sheikh Hassan was saying, as long as you've got the fundamental sort of belief in Islam and the oneness of the Prophet, that's the only criteria, and then you're open to all masajids. And can you give us some sort of examples? I was before you came in, I was just talking to Brother Sheikh Hassan to say what kind of things has the MCB really rallied and got it under the belt, where the whole of the communities that you represent. So we talked about how it sort of started with the satanic verses, and that's how it sort of did. Any other sort of highlights of the MCB, and then we can talk about how people can actually sort of be part of the movement, so to say. So what kind of the things we can talk about? We talked about terrorism, where MCB rallied the cause. Is there anything else in terms of education or youth work and sisters and female?
Yes, I mean, a whole range of issues MCB has taken up and done some pioneering and novel work.
Yeah, so because what I was thinking is, like, a lot of people know we've heard of the MCB, but we really don't know. Do you know how has it affected me in Leicester? I'm okay. Do you know why do I need the MCB?
Yes.
So I mean, something like that. So at least I know that this is what happened, and MCB was part of it. And because of MCB, we managed to get this. Is there something like that you can share?
We've not been a protest organization as such. I think Muslims love protesting. Remember when there's big march and rallies and burning, etc. So no, we have not taken that route at all. And I don't think that's the way to actually strengthen our community in this country. I think it's what we've done is identified key strategic issues around which we have managed to gather teams to actually work on those. Obviously, it's not been ideal in terms of what I think. I think all the office bearers and MCB teams would say this, that whatever we wanted to achieve in all the areas, we have
any highlights
still. Anyway, I'll press on with a few things. inshallah. So we have had number of committees. So for example, Halal committee has worked hard on getting standards in halal in UK, and regulation. That's something Dr. Shuja has championed. In education, again, we get so many inquiries from schools and so on, and colleges where we guide and advise, and we have been working on that. Then we had the Business Economics Committee, which I think has been taking delegations to World Islamic Economic Forum, again trying to connect our businesses in this country with Muslim world businesses and see how there can be mutual synergies. And there have been a lot of things come out of it. I think the fact that Sukuk has been accepted in this country, the fact that
that was an amazing thing.
Of all people, David Cameron said we want to make London the hub of Islamic finance. MCB has played a huge role in that area.
Fantastic.
Because, in fact, bringing World Islamic Economic Forum to London in 2013 was first time for an OIC forum to hold their major event in a non-Muslim country, purely because of the strength of the Muslim community here in MCB and Islamic finance in this
That's
country.
a huge
Yes,
thing. Yes, of course.
that was held in 2013, and we played a crucial role in that. And then, of course, the media. I think our main work has been the media response. It is very easy for atmosphere to become very poisonous. I think after Phil Rigby's atrocity and murder and 7/7 and so many flashpoints where we are the only voice out there in the media to actually present the Muslim viewpoint, Muslim stance, and constantly being on the media every day. I think that is the main work of the MCB. And there I would say we as Muslim community are really ill-equipped. Even as MCB, I would say, when I look at the office, we have got one media officer sitting there with ITN, BBC, and every week we have major shows. We were on the Andrew Neil this week. Talha was there. News nights, and I'm on the media loop, so I see how many inquiries are coming from media who are offering us that come and present your case. And I must say that quite often our people are not trained, not equipped, and we shy away. It's a real struggle to find people to take on these cutting edge tough interviews and present Muslim case. And so we have done media training and contributed to media articles in mainstream journals and magazines where our community just is absent, and people who are actually occupying these spaces quite often are voices that are making things in life more difficult for us, and we're not taking them on. So I think that is a major work of MCB, and I would very much like to see a buzzing of media office in MCB, PR office in MCB. Take Parliament again. There's for small issues, those who want to get fox hunting banned or not banned, they are putting up 10-20 call centers and calling the whole country, lobbying with the members of Parliament. MCB needs to have at least 4 or 5 people to actually lobby member of parliaments, build relationships, to quite often just ignorance, and nobody has reached and spoken to these people. How many people, I ask you, are actually doing this work as a community of almost 3 million?
Very rare.
Hardly any. How many mosques invest any money on this? How many times have you heard any imams on the pulpit saying, look, this way you should be spending money, spending and investing our money? When I read Islamic history, Prophet ﷺ actually had very austere mosque in Masjid Nabawi, and I learned that not once did he actually make appeal to make this mosque or for his mosque. It was just built, it remained austere, money for the underprivileged, for the orphans, their rights. And when Allah asked for qard, about 5 times, 7 times in the Quran, each of that occasion was when Medina was under attack. It had to be defended. Every time Allah says, who is going to give qard? And then goodly a loan to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was a defense of the idea of Islam, this idea to actually achieve justice in this world, in human society, to bring people to Tawheed, to actually liberate humanity.
And it's a huge need.
Servitude of others. and that idea was under attack because it was a threat to those with vested interests, and they were going to mount attacks. So resources were invested to defend community itself, and I think that is a theme. And there, I think we are not investing enough. So and therefore, I think our mosque, our whole presence, as far as I'm concerned, requires us to invest in this kind of work.
And we need, because I think one of the surveys that, if I'm not too mistaken, we discussed while we were on a trip together, Brother Hassan, was like the overwhelming majority of the Muslim in the UK, 3 million something, there's 40% or 50% is like youngsters, teenagers and children, which make the bulk of it all. And what we really need to do is, are these geared up? Are these youth empowered to do things like this? And MCBs, going around the UK, raising awareness. So have you got a lot of people coming in? I mean, you've got the nice, energetic young person in charge now. So are you reaching out to communities in terms of the youth and, male as well as female, mashallah, because we always get attacked that our sisters are always locked up in the cupboard and they have no access outside to the outside world. So are you reaching out to these sort of groups as well?
Yes, we've always had a youth committee which has done various projects. I mean, they've done exchange programs, they've gone to like trip to Bosnia, they've done Young Muslim Beacons Award where to encourage community organizations and mosques to cater for young people. It was a very novel idea, which was to actually ask all our affiliates, if you have done something for young people in your mosque which has been creative, new, novel, to engage them.
Yeah, I love the visit my mosque as well, wasn't
it? To build their capacity, yes. So submit your project to us, and we will then assess which are the 3 best projects and give them a award in House of Parliament, invite
Mashallah.
Members of Parliament. So that project needs to be, I think, last 2, 3 years or 4 years has not actually taken place because we had a energetic team that's kind of moved on. So we need to bring in more people to this kind of project, which simply are creating excellence, encouraging people to be more creative, to involve young people, to solve problems, to bring that energy into our masajid and organization. That's something MCB can do. But we are an umbrella body. We are not a grassroots organization. We are not a community. We don't want to actually step onto so our affiliates, do things affiliates do. We are here to represent them in certain areas, and so we're very careful on that one.
Because Visit My Mosque,
we don't want to become community.
That's sort of MCB, isn't it? MCB led.
Yes, it is.
It's a huge thing. This year you had something like how many people taking part? How many organizations?
This year we had 160 mosques taking part in the Visit My Mosque initiative nationally. We had tens of thousands of non-Muslim attending those, and the reviews and feedback has been phenomenal, excellent. And the idea for next year is we are aiming around 300 to 400.
Inshallah.
And as a result of the Visit My Mosque initiative, we are doing number of things to follow up and also support the development of mosques. What you also see that when we are doing events like that, there are mosques which are not perhaps well equipped or well developed to engage young people. And as a result of that, we are organizing a number of conferences and roundtable to engage mosques and support them.
Fantastic.
So towards the end of this year, there will be a big conference on how mosques can become better equipped to support young people.
Yeah, because I thought there was a huge buzz when this Visit My Mosque came about. It was last month sometime?
This was February the 5th.
1st of Feb.
5th of February.
5th of Feb, right. It was awesome. And then you had a lot of people talking about it. Visit My Mosque, and you saw the MCB, and then, so that was really, really engaging. The social media was just like on fire. You had mosques in Gloucester and then up north and down south, and everyone talking about it. So many people coming into the masajids as well. My local masjid I went to as well, and I attended a few of them. And then you saw the Muslims and non-Muslims coming in and taking part in salah and prayers. And there was a lady we met at Masjid al-Falah, and it was really nice to see that her expression was like, oh my God, is this what Muslims are about? And then I used the hashtag of, oh my God, is this what Muslims do in the mosques? Because we've been known, people see us as, what are these guys doing in the masjids? And that was a huge thing. So is it just annually once a year? Or?
Yes.
It is, yeah. It's going to be an annual event, inshallah. So we are gearing up for next year, inshallah. It's, yeah.
This was the third year.
Oh, mashallah.
And just to give you the background, back in 2015, around January, February time, we just felt, looking at how after the beheadings, the Daesh beheadings and Paris attack. So we just felt, and looking at the media, just reading the media, we felt the whole atmosphere is now really getting out of control. It was very, very negative and hostile. And we thought that was one of the ways we can counter it is that our community, mosque institution need to open the door and allow people who are genuinely afraid, scared, because they're sitting in their homes, they're watching the television screens. For them, Muslims are beheading non-Muslims, and and when they look at the mosque. So you need to just open your door. You need to make, which we should have done. We should have always
open door policy. Yeah.
Mosque people always have had some during the week, some time that you open to your neighbors and people amongst whom you are present. I think there's an Islamic duty upon our masajid institutions. So we began. It was very few mosques participated that year, but we at Islamic Foundation Markfield, we did. In Leicester, I think we were the only one that year, because we said we'll join. And I was astounded that when people started coming, non-Muslims, 30, 40 people just suddenly arrived. We were only open for 3 hours. So I asked them, what made you come? And where did you come from? So people had come from Corby, Northampton, Loughborough, 30 miles. On a Sunday, with family, they'd driven. Young families had actually arrived. They said this in the morning, we just got up and we saw this Visit My Mosque on BBC. So we just checked on website, and this was the nearest mosque available, and we always thought we should perhaps visit a mosque. And I felt a bit sad that, the people who, there must be many, many more who feel like to go into a mosque, but they're reticent, they're reluctant because of this fear of unknown, So this was, and again this year in Leicester, 9 mosques participated, and I was in the follow-up meeting to just gather our feedback 2 weeks ago at the Peace Center, and the response has been amazing from non-Muslims. So inshallah it will grow next year.
Inshallah,
Yes.
inshallah. So for all this to happen, you really need a good bank of people to sort of promote and raise the awareness and push the.
This one, I think the person who's coordinating from MCB, Brother Hassan Judis, and his team had done volunteer. I think few volunteers have done very good work using media, social media, and trying to provide that national backup. But really, this kind of campaign is ideal for MCB to mobilize people to do, because affiliates do all the work. Each mosque took their own responsibility. You just give them the motivation and a national buzz, and the rest
And create the buzz.
Yes.
And then I think it's really, really important to have that buzz, and social media take a huge sort of a platform in that, in raising awareness and the buzz itself. And you have a dedicated team to do all that as well, and you need volunteers for that as well, regionally, or how does it work? You just have one team, and then mass participation?
We are always looking for volunteers for different initiatives, especially for Visit My Mosque. If there are any volunteers who are willing to support, there are a lot of scope and opportunity available.
Okay.
So I would invite them to visit MCB's website and register their interest, inshallah.
Okay. And then the regional awareness campaign you're doing, Sheikh. So today and then You're coming to see us in
what
Leicester
Brother
as well?
Farouk mentioned earlier in terms of strengthening the infrastructure of MCB, it's very important and significant to do the positive work that we're doing in terms of media, in terms of visit my mosques and other work that MCB does. And what we are doing to strengthen this is we are organizing number of community fundraising dinners, and we have just recently organized one in London, which was very successful, alhamdulillah.
Oh, mashallah.
The next one is taking place in the city that we are sitting now, in Leicester, on 31st of March at the Memon Center. So I would urge brothers and sisters who are in Leicester, please come forward and support this initiative. You can visit our website to get more information about the dinners and how you can support. But I would definitely urge you to come forward and support. But through your support, we can strengthen the work that we are doing. What Brother Farouk mentioned earlier in terms of the media work. Currently, we have only one media officer, and again, she's part-time.
Wow,
To
okay.
strengthen this work, we need your financial support. The Visit My Mosque, this brother Hassan Jodi is a volunteer. He's by profession an engineer. And with one volunteer, he has done a marvelous job this year, alhamdulillah.
Mashallah.
Previous year, we only had 80 or 90 mosques. This year, it's 160. And next year, we are aiming to have 300. So you
Inshallah.
definitely need to have the financial resources, as well as other work that MCB does, inshallah. So I would definitely request all the brothers and sisters who are listening, please visit our website and register your interest for the dinner.
Which is the mosque the MCB website would be?
It's www.mcb.org.uk.
So mcb.org.uk. Okay, so there we have it, listeners. So we are on miradio.co.uk. And by the way, this is relayed over many countries as well. We've got listeners right in Bahamas, in Kenya, in Malawi, who tune in from South Africa. So hopefully the message has gone far and wide. And this dinner again, if you can just tell us about Leicester. Are there many more? Is it just in Leicester and London?
No, the next one is going to be in Birmingham on 5th of May. The
Okay.
Leicester one is on 31st of March, Friday 31st of March at the Memon Center, 6:30. If there are any businesses listening, we are desperately looking for business sponsors, and if it was interested to sponsor the event, you can always get in touch with us, inshallah.
Is there a number as well do you want to give out to get in touch? Because as they say, while the tawa is garam, you need to make the most of it.
Yeah, the number is it's 0207 492 4983. 0207 492 4983. You can always visit our website www.mcb.org.uk.
Okay. No, thank you very much. That's been really, really good. And then we hope to see something beforehand as well. You're more than welcome to come before the event
Inshallah.
and tell us more about it.
Yeah,
And I'm
certainly.
sure Sheikh Huzaifa and the brothers in the studio and the radio station, they will be overwhelmed to receive you and hear more about how people can get involved locally, regionally and nationally as well, inshallah.
Thank you, Wesley.
Jazakallahu khairan for coming down. Really, really appreciate it. Sheikh
Jazakallah
Hassan.
khair, brother Salim, for taking the initiative. I think he was instrumental to arrange this
No,
radio show. I
it's
wasn't
anything,
even aware of the radio
anything.
station. And thank you to the management of the radio station. Jazakallah khair.
This is the
And I
man.
hope you will continue to promote our event in Leicester, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Hope to see you, inshallah, on 31st.
Yes,
Inshallah, Jazakallahu khairan.
The radio station team is invited, inshallah, to the event.
Inshallah. Sheikh Huzaifa is the man to do a lot of things, inshallah. Sheikh, please do promote the work of MCB, which I'm sure you will be doing. Listeners, here I go again. Sorry, it's not 80, but it's mirradio.co.uk. Brother Farouk, I used to host a radio station when he sometime, and Sheikh Huzaifa wrote me in after about 5 years, 6 years. So, so alhamdulillah, retrained and so thing. Sheikh, what does these buttons do? And then we need to put the adverts on. So thank you very much, all listeners. I hope it was very, very useful today. The MCB is doing some amazing work, and hopefully we can support the work MCB